Hello everyone. In this video, we will explore one of the most important maritime safety conventions, SALAS, the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea. We will briefly look at the purpose of SALAS, Malaysia's role as a flag state, and why the Safe Manning document is essential for maintaining safety at sea. The SALAS Convention, which stands for the Safety of Life at Sea, is an international maritime treaty that establishes minimum safety standards for the construction, equipment, and operation of merchant ships. First introduced in 1914 in response to the Titanic disaster, it underscored the need for safety measures such as lifeboats, emergency equipment, and continuous radio watches. The 1914 SALAS Treaty, however, never came into force due to the outbreak of World War I. It was later revised in 1929, 1948, 1960, and 1974, the latter introducing the tacit acceptance procedure, allowing amendments to automatically come into force unless objections are raised by parties involved. The primary aim of the SALAS Convention is to establish minimum safety standards for ship construction, operation, and equipment, ensuring the safety of life at sea. Flag states are responsible for ensuring that ships flying their flag comply with these standards. The convention also introduces port state control, allowing contracting governments to inspect ships of other states if there are reasonable grounds to believe they do not meet the SALAS standards. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, 1974, SALAS 1974, as amended, entered into force internationally on May 25, 1980. According to Article X of the Convention, it came into effect after at least 25 states, whose combined merchant fleets represented 50% of the world's gross tonnage, became parties to it. Today, SALAS 1974 is one of the most widely adopted maritime safety conventions, with 168 contracting states representing 98.49% of the world's merchant fleet tonnage, demonstrating its global acceptance and significance in enhancing maritime safety standards. Malaysia ratified the convention on October 19, 1983, and it entered into force for Malaysia on January 19, 1984. Article X further specifies that any instrument of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession deposited after the convention has entered into force shall take effect 3 months after the date of deposit, and that any amendments deemed accepted under Article 8 will apply to all subsequent instruments of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession. The 1978 SALAS Protocol was adopted to amend the original 1974 SALAS Convention. This protocol entered into force globally on May 1, 1981, after meeting the conditions set out in Article 5, entry into force. Malaysia ratified the protocol on October 19, 1983, and it came into effect for Malaysia on January 19, 1984. The protocol is formally known as the Protocol of 1978 relating to the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, 1974, and as of its entry into force, it had 124 contracting states, representing 96.92% of the world's merchant fleet tonnage. According to Article 5 of the 1978 SALAS Protocol, the protocol shall enter into force 12 months after 15 states, whose combined merchant fleets account for 50% of the world's gross tonnage, have become parties to it. Any instrument of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession deposited after the protocol enters into force will take effect 3 months after the date of deposit. This ensures that the protocol remains effective and that all parties to the convention are aligned with the latest maritime safety standards. The 1988 SALAS Protocol further amended the earlier versions of the SALAS Convention. This protocol entered into force internationally on February 3, 2000, with Malaysia ratifying it on November 11, 2011. The protocol came into effect for Malaysia on February 11, 2012. According to Article 5, entry into force of the 1988 SALAS Protocol, The protocol entered into force after two key conditions were met. First, 15 states whose combined merchant fleets accounted for 50% of the world's gross tonnage must express their consent to be bound by the protocol. Second, the conditions for the entry into force of the Protocol of 1988 relating to the International Convention on Load Lines, 1966, had to be satisfied. However, as per Article 5, the protocol could not enter into force before February 1, 1992. For states that deposited an instrument of ratification, acceptance, approval, or accession after these conditions were met, but before the protocol's entry into force, the instrument would take effect either on the date the protocol entered into force or 3 months after the deposit, whichever was later. Any instrument deposited after the protocol entered into force would also take effect 3 months after the deposit. Additionally, any amendments to the protocol, as per Article 6, would apply to future ratifications or accessions. In Malaysia, the Malaysia Marine Department is responsible for enforcing SALAS standards on all Malaysian flag vessels under Flag State Control, FSC, while foreign vessels are under Port Stage Control, PSC, ensuring that ships registered under the Malaysian flag comply with international safety standards. The table below provides a clear comparison of the SALAS 1974 Convention and its 1978 and 1988 protocols. The table shows the information about UUM Boleh, a Malaysian-flagged oil tanker. According to SALAS Chapter 5, Regulation 14, every ship covered under Chapter 1 must carry an appropriate minimum safe manning document or an equivalent certificate issued by the Flag State Administration. This document serves as official evidence that the ship has the minimum number of qualified crew required to ensure safe operation, considering factors such as ship type, size, machinery, and voyage area. For domestic voyages, a safe manning certificate is issued, while for international voyages, including near coastal voyages, a safe manning document is issued. Assuming UUM Boleh is operating on an international voyage, the Malaysia Marine Department issues a safe manning document for this ship. This ensures that UUM Boleh has the minimum qualified personnel required for safe operations, maintenance, and emergency situations. So, what exactly is a safe manning document? A safe manning document is a document issued by a vessel's flag state that specifies the minimum number and qualifications of crew required to operate a ship safely. A safe manning certificate is a certificate issued by a vessel's flag state for domestic voyage. It ensures that the vessel is neither undermanned nor overmanned, helping to prevent accidents caused by fatigue or overstress, while also ensuring operational efficiency and cost-effectiveness. The document or certificate lists the specific positions, such as the master, officers, and engineers, along with their required certifications and training. In essence, it guarantees that the right crew with the right qualifications are on board to ensure safety at sea. According to Regulation 3 of Chapter 1 of SALAS explains the exceptions to the convention. It does not apply to the following types of vessels: ships of war and troop ships, cargo ships of less than 500 gross tonnage, ships not propelled by mechanical means, wooden ships of primitive build, pleasure yachts not engaged in trade and fishing vessels. Thus, SALAS only applies to cargo ships of 500 gross tonnage and above, except for those specifically listed in the exceptions. UUM Boleh, being an oil tanker of 28,927 GT, is fully regulated under SALAS. Passenger ships, typically defined as vessels carrying more than 12 passengers, must comply with all relevant SALAS and load lines regulations on international voyages regardless of their gross tonnage, ensuring full safety compliance for passengers and crew alike. Under Malaysia Shipping Notice July 1999, the Merchant Shipping, Manning, Hours of Work, and Watchkeeping Rules 1999 require ships to either carry a safe manning document or a manning certificate. A safe manning document is required for ships 500 GT or more, while a manning certificate is required for ships less than 500 GT. Companies are responsible for ensuring that their ships, Have a valid safe manning document. Keep a copy of the safe manning document on board at all times and maintain manning levels that meet or exceed the specified requirements in the document. 4. UUM-BOLE. As a 28,927 GT oil tanker, a safe manning document is mandatory.